Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug. This is the post game for the LAFC versus Vancouver matchup on Saturday, May 11th. I'm Travis Helwig.
I'm Vince LaRosa.
Wow, we did it. We did it. We finally did it. We beat Vancouver for the 100th time in 6 months. Vince, you were at the game. Tell me what it was like.
It was a lot of fun. It was very interesting to see an LAFC team that was like, they were really geared up. I mean, if you were disappointed at all with the Las Vegas game, I feel like the team was as well. And they came out like out of a cannon. I honestly thought that Vancouver would have the advantage in terms of like physicality and just the way that they play kind of downhill. But LAFC outplayed them in pretty much every aspect of the game from minute one, to be honest. And it was very much not like a normal Vancouver LAFC game where Vancouver sits back and like tries to wait out LAFC. LAFC was just like, no, we're just going to take it right to you from the get go. And I mean, I'll get it right out of the box like right away. Like that, my happy foot. I mean, it should be Kiké Olivera, but for me, it was the midfield. The midfield completely outplayed Vancouver's midfield, and that's not something that going into this game I honestly felt was. Not that it wasn't possible, but it wasn't something that I thought would happen. I thought Vancouver was always going to have a stronger, just a harder working midfield. But Tillman, Atuesta, and Ilie they were killing those guys.
Yeah, well, we'll get to Ilie in a little bit because I don't know in the stadium if you could see, but after he was subbed off to get injured, there was a close up of him on the bench in real tears, like real fucked up tears as they were working on him. And it was a combination of what looked like pain and an understanding that something really bad has happened. I'm just conjecture, but
I'm actually glad you brought that up because in stadium I had said, look, he looks like he's actually hurt, but then when he went and sat on the bench, normally that's a good sign.
Yeah,
because when you're really injured, you go down the tunnel. It's like we got to get going right away. Yeah, that could be bad.
I mean, it was. He looked fine walking off, and then when he sat down, they showed a close up, and it was like real agony. And I don't know if it was emotional agony or physical agony, but it was something we've never seen before. Vince, who we got? Yeah, what's going on, man? I love that scarf.
I'm on headphones, so it's not as cool to like show off people, but we've got people that are here.
We got a friend of the foot. I think that was Ryan. It was hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my obvious sad foot is Ilie. I don't think we're going to have Wednesday, and there's a world in which we don't have him for a long time,
an extended period.
People keep saying we wanted Ilie benched. We never said that. We said it's possible that Ilie and Atuesta don't work well together, but I would almost say I'd rather Atuesta benched.
And hold on. Before we even said, like, we were the last on that train, we were like, it seems like it's not always working. We're like, in possession, it seems like Ilie and Atuesta are redundant. And then, when we bring Bogusz in, there's a different look to the team. And now all of a sudden people are getting, we can't win. We just can't win. Let's not even talk about it.
It's fine. Okay, so I want to get into a couple of obvious happy feet because it was a fun game. Ilie injury aside, Kiké, what more can we say about the newly goateed man who has scored 5 goals in 3 games? I believe it was Micah Gutierrez coined the term Goaltee now that he has that beautiful goatee that he wears. Look, what we've been saying this whole time is that he was always in the right spots. He just wasn't finishing. We talked a lot about how we don't execute as a team on the preview episode. We executed start to finish, and no better example than Kiké Olivera that game. What did you see from Kiké?
2 goals, which has been what I've been saying for the longest time when you guys have compared, not you guys, I mean, people in the chat or outside in the internet world, when you compare Kiké Olivera to Brian Rodriguez. He goes to the areas where he thinks something could possibly be brewing. Like, Brian was allergic to going into the box unless the ball was at his feet because he was like, look, if I'm not making it happen, I don't care. Kiké goes to the goal and he gets in the areas where, look, you get tap-ins when you get in those areas, but it really comes down to working. I like to bring up this story a lot because I think it's very instructive for young players. So there was a player from England. Gary Lineker, an incredible striker for England. He actually went one of the few English players that was able to go and play in Barcelona in the 80s and 90s. And he used to say, people say to me, how are you always in the right place? And he goes, well, what you don't see is that I make the run every single time, so that maybe the 2 times that it comes, yes, I'm in the right place, but it's because I am willing to make those runs. And I think that's important look, you get a lot of skilled wingers like Kiké or like Brian Rodriguez, and they can do so many things with the ball at their feet. But what they really need to learn is sometimes you just take the cheapies. And I think that's what I've always seen from Kiké, and now where he's starting to reap some of the benefits. It's something that maybe it doesn't show up in the box score. It's not something that a lot of fans are seeing because they're seeing when the ball's at his feet, he misses a pass or isn't able to finish a shot. But that's where you're going to get goals. That's 2 more goals in his ledger that, again, Brian Rodriguez probably wouldn't have got that, and he could probably pick up, 3 or 4 more of those in the whole season. And then he does, though, have the skill to make things happen with his feet. But he's smart enough to understand I don't have to make it look pretty. It doesn't matter as long as it's in the back of the net.
Yeah. And that also brings me to Denny Bouanga, who, hasn't been the goal-scoring killer that we've known him to be, but showed a new skill set today in a hat trick of assists. Maybe man of the match, Denny Bouanga, because of those crosses, each one more beautiful. And I want to also shout out Omar Campos for a happy foot, who we talked about, made a couple mistakes early on in the season, was taken out of the lineup, and had a fantastic game today where he also, and Chanot played remarkable today too. I don't really have many sad feet outside of the big question mark around Ilie right now. Darren's on the show. How you doing, Darren?
Hey, sorry for the delay. I had some technical difficulties as usual on schedule. How's the show going so far, guys?
It's great. We're already defensive to the comments.
Oh my God. Yeah. Everyone's upset? Everyone's upset with this 3-0 win?
No, we're all very happy.
No, the win's great.
Kimberly Keeper says, happy foot. I really liked our back line tonight. I loved Ryan, but this group looks good together. They did, man. Our back line was tight tonight. Chanot needs to start every game. He's maybe our best center back right now. And him and Long seems to fit a little bit better than him and Murillo. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I honestly think that's probably your best center back pairing, what you just saw. But again, I want to go back to just the work that they did in the midfield, and even the front line was pressing really well. Like I don't want to take anything away from the clean sheet and good for Hugo and the back line, but it was a team effort. It really was, and I think that's what we've kind of been talking about. We've been trying to place where is the one weak link. It's when the team doesn't play up to standard that the errors seem to get punished. And this was the night where it was everyone had each other's back. Even when guys made mistakes, someone else was there to cover. And it really showed in the fact that, I think, did Hugo have maybe one save that he needed to make that was a tough save? Otherwise, everything was pretty remedial and comfortable for him.
He did seem more active, though, than I've noticed him. It feels like somebody told him he has to move around a little bit more.
We did talk about it on the podcast.
I did count. Technically, he dove at least 2.5 times. Those count as dives. I was thrilled.
Well, we've had a few people waiting, but before I bring them on, any other happy feet or sad feet from the two of you before we bring on our guests?
I got plenty. I can do them throughout the show, though. All right. I guess the one I've got is that Denny and Olivera clearly went out and had the bender that we asked them to have weeks ago. We said they needed to go on a bender and bond, and obviously they did it in Vegas, just like we'd hoped. And so I'm very happy about that.
Vince, I just muted you for a second because there was some noise behind you, but you could unmute at any point when you need to.
You know what? The amount of people that have just been like, "Hey Vince, hi," and it's got to be all because of this has been awesome. There's been 4 or 5 people, and so that's what you're hearing. I will also say this:
amazing.
I was I'm waving to LAX Andy as he walks by. So before the game, I got asked by Vancouver's pregame radio show to come on, and I had done it prior to this. And what was funny is he goes, "So you're not with LAFC anymore. What do you want me to plug?" And I was like, "Please plug Happy Foot, Sad Foot." And he wrote back to me in text. he wrote back to me and texted me before the show. He goes, "This better not be a fucking joke." And I go, "No, it's a real show." So if we get
just don't listen to the most recent episode.
Yeah, especially because the show broadcasts in Vancouver. So we did get a little love from Vancouver, but it was very funny for him to be like, "You're pulling my leg, like you're fucking with me, right?" And I was like, "No, the show is called Happy Foot Sad Foot. It is an LAFC podcast."
Well, I'm very
That's
happy that you got shown some love, as well as BME. LAFC, Luke, we're going to bring you on. Any happy feet or sad feet from the game?
Hey guys, let's see. I think happy foot would be Denis Bouanga. Just really excited to see him get a new dimension to his game. Vince was talking about that, and it definitely felt like if he can do that on the regular, that makes him a better striker, right? Because now players can't just triple and quadruple team him because he can find the open guy. And I'm hoping that that's a sign of something new from him. Also, I don't know if Vince, you saw this too, since you're like the guy who sees all the stuff that's going on. That like I'm like, is this a thing I'm seeing or is this not real? But it felt like there was more creativity happening, like more sort of through balls right down the middle of the box with guys coming in from the wings, but not so far out. But like they were able to get on the ball at least 2 or 3 times that I recall seeing.
I mean, first of all, Timothy Tillman was incredible in this game, and his passing range and his ability to like look one way and then look off the defense and play balls that are difficult passes was on point. But I think what you're seeing is the whole team was able to connect passes, and when it's addictive. When you start to connect the passes, the confidence level raises.
Yeah.
You start to feel like you're in control of the game, and when you're in control of the game, you can do things like that. Like I'm not. I say this sometimes, and I mean it somewhat jokingly, but like soccer's an easy game. The easiest thing you can do is get the ball to somebody that has time and the ability to look up and see what's in front of them, and that's honestly what LAFC was doing. They were moving the ball quickly and then always getting it to a guy that was able to lift his head up, and then you can do the difficult and creative things when you have that little bit of time. But LAFC, for different games or for different reasons, wasn't connecting those passes, and so you're rushed and you can't do those types of things.
Yeah, there just seemed to be a next level gear that they had sort of gotten into in this game. And like I want to, on one level, I'm like, well, was that a real outcome? Is this meaningful? But like Vancouver's been good. Like they've been a good team. So to take them to the woodshed like we did tonight, that means something. So, and I was gonna say until I heard that Ilie was injured, like he actually looked really good for the portion of the game. Like he didn't have any. He's had games where it's like, oh, like that was not a good turn. That was a turnover, whatever. Like he was finding the open man. He was making great plays. So I'm bummed to hear that he may be injured. I'm not surprised that this may happen at this point because we knew that this was always a possibility when we start to get into this game after game after game scenario. So my sad foot, and my husband tweeted something like this, is definitely Ted Uncle. That referee is trash. I'm so tired of him. And I didn't watch, obviously I didn't see this on TV because we were there live, but like, are we sure that was a dive at the end of the first half?
There was minimal contact. It was definitely accentuated. I think it had to have been in his mind that they're going to have to really get hit to get a PK from me again after that Galaxy game. Like for sure he was worried about doing the same thing again. So I do think it was a dive. I don't think it normally would be a yellow for a dive of that caliber, but I think he was giving us one back after he won that game for us.
Okay. All right, well, that's all I got.
It was Robert Stadium. All I know is, like, yes, he definitely missed him with his hands, but he cleaned him a little bit out with his feet, and that doesn't.
The keeper didn't touch the ball, did he?
No, he definitely didn't touch the ball. And look, Matty,
there was contact.
So I think what he's thinking there is like he's got a bad touch. He's gonna look for anything, but look, just because you go down doesn't mean it has to be a yellow. We could have just said like, hey, it is what it is. But he was very quick with that yellow, and that's what. You have to be so sure to bring the yellow out that fast. But That's what he
It
decided.
wasn't. It shouldn't have been a yellow. It definitely should not have.
It should have been a no call. It should have been no call at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Luke. It's always good to hear from you.
Take care, Luke.
Something I want to say quickly before we bring on more guests, because they're piling up right now in the waiting room. We are in 5th place. We're tied for 4th place with Vancouver in the table right now. We are 2 points behind the Galaxy, who were seemingly world beaters at the beginning of this season. And we were terrible. We are less than a game behind the Galaxy, who are in 3rd place right now. I know that this has felt like a bad season, but all things considered, we're in a decent place before we flesh out the roster coming this summer. All right, we're bringing on our old friend. Can't imagine he has anything negative to say. Please welcome to the show, Jeff Talk. Jeff, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. It's nice to be here. So, Vince, I know you're bummed you're not on trial right now. So, do you want me to ask you some pressing questions about why we performed poorly, or you just want to save those for the loss?
I mean, I think it's only fair that you were coming to my defense last. I mean, I honestly thought last game, I told Darren, I was like, I can't believe Jeff was like my savior there. He really, helping me out. And I wanted to actually send you like a gift basket.
You're gonna give me the old who's that Derek Jeter basket? You know what I mean? Some baked goods. And
I think that was for something else.
Yeah. My baseball was gonna say thank you, Jeff, for stopping me from getting fucked from the comments.
Hey-o. So
Jeff, I do want to say it sounds like you're calling in from an old-timey telephone. It's like this is what sports radio sounds like.
I am legitimately calling in from like the Bluetooth of a car that was invented, or that came out a year after Bluetooth was invented. You know what I mean? A working class gentleman. You know what I'm saying? I took the train to Expo Crenshaw, and I'm driving home. You know what I mean? Or my wife's driving me home. I'm definitely not driving it.
Okay.
So to go positive like I was all the time, because I really do mean this. Like, we have the summer window. We are in 4th place, right? Or 5th place? We're
tied for 4th
in the West, right? Yeah. Like, we're where we need to be in order to be able to give ourselves a shot at the East Cup and the MLS Cup. Like, the team as constituted probably won't do that, but we are getting a very nice Frenchman. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about him. And probably at least one other guy. You know what I mean? Whether that's Vela coming back on a DP deal or somebody else. Like, I know that we've been very shaky and we're up right now, so we should be very happy, but this is not our final form, as the anime-obsessed children say. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's another level of this once we get the French guy and once we get whoever that 3rd DP is. Vince, do you want to speculate on who that 3rd DP is going to be? Do we think it's going to be Vela? Do we think it's going to be somebody else?
I don't think Vela comes back on a DP deal at all. If Vela comes back, it's not on a DP deal.
Really? That's wild. All right, that's cool. You think we're going to get Royce from Dortmund, Vince?
No, because I mean, look, Kiké Olivera just scored 2 goals. I mean, he's got 5 goals in 3 games. Like, why would you bring in Marco Royce to play a similar position and then Blanca on the other side? I mean, if anything, if there's another Dortmund player coming in, maybe it's Mats Hummels. But I don't
get me excited, man.
Deal.
Don't get me excited. That's what I want to hear. That'd be spectacular.
I'm just saying.
Jeff, I think we're gonna have to let you go because I know it's $1 a minute on that plan. So, but thanks for calling in. We always love to hear from you.
Say hi to the prison guards for us.
I don't like that at all. That's very.
The following is a collect call from the Expo line.
Boys, I'm gonna run to get to the old bus on top of the freeway. Unless you guys got anything else you want me to talk about before I jet that way.
No, I just want to reiterate something you said before when Darren wasn't on. This was the game that the midfield clicked, like really for the first time, and because of that, our forward 3 and our back line looked great. And that's why it's so sad that we might lose Ilie for an extended period of time. We might not. People are saying that he was walking around, but I've never seen Ilie's face look the way it did. So my instinct is that he's hurt in some capacity, even if he can walk on. But Vince, thanks for calling in, and I'm happy you got to go to a game and see some people.
Well, thank you so much for passing off your tickets. I got to sit in a very nice spot. And thank you for everyone that said hello to me if you're listening to this afterwards. And I will say this. Remember, we thought Aaron Long literally split his leg in half. And he started this game. And,
That's true.
So you never know. But, yes, we very much hope that Ilie is okay because we're going to need him. And if the midfield is clicking the way they are, we're definitely going to need him.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true.
All right, Vince. We'll talk to you soon. We love you.
Travel safe.
Bye.
All right. Well, we got some more callers waiting. LAFC Daniel, we always love when you call in. Any happy foot or sad foot from the match?
Hey guys. Yeah. All right. So happy foot. How about that second goal we scored? It was a 15 pass sequence. All 11 players on the field touched the ball. Like that's the best goal that we've scored all season. Insane team goal. And then of course Kiké Olivera is the one that puts that in, right? So that was my happy foot. Sad foot. How can you say anything else but Ilie? Our dude was playing a great game. That midfield three, like you guys have said, they found cohesion. People act surprised that it took 12 games that we've played for a midfield three to click, but that's how soccer works, And tonight they were cooking. Tim Tillman looked like Tony Cruz out there. He's spraying balls across the field. That dude spearheads the press. He's like all over the place. Our player of the season, no doubt. And so sad foot would be, damn. Is that it for that midfield three? We'll find out, right?
We've talked a lot about how it seems like they might not be congruous. They might not be able to work together, but they proved us wrong tonight. Like they just looked good together and they didn't seem awkward around one another, which hadn't been the case all season. I think you also tweeted, I saw earlier, Daniel, about how good Chanot was in that one-on-one and just Chanot in general. Was that you?
Yes. He was so good this game. He was a
so it was 83rd minute. The old man should be tired by that point of the game, and then a sub comes in. He gets him one-on-one in transition off of like a bad giveaway, and Chanot just completely locks him up. He slide tackles him, gets all ball in the box, like just perfectly incredible work, dude. Yeah, oh my god, like he brings something else to this team that Murillo would have probably broken the guy's leg in that scenario with like a double-footed tackle,
which also works.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not our guy, but. But Chanot is incredible, and then him and Long can do all of his shit that he normally does. He like runs around and tackles hard and wins 50-50 balls when Chanot's next to him, because Chanot is like the calm presence, Dude, it's just so dope to see the team play like that.
Yeah, Chanot, I was a little nervous when we got him because I talked to Tom Bogert about how hot, like he talked to me about how much of a hothead Chanot was and like how kind of difficult he was, and he seems so calm and cool back there. Like maybe it's a personality thing, but like he's easily our best center or our defensive. I'm fucking blanking. He's easily our best.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm tired, guys.
Yeah, he's the best center back.
He's better.
I got you, bro.
Better than Murillo and Long right now.
Yeah, but with the center backs, it's really about the partnership. And you can, like, that was the first game that Chanot and Long have played together, and how good do they look? Like, you heard coming into this game all about Gald and White and how good they are or whatever. And, Brian White is, like, tearing it up. Dude, I don't even know if that guy took a shot this game.
It's true.
Like, they locked him up.
Dominated.
White actually, right in front of our section, rolled his ankle pretty early in the match, and it didn't seem like he was the same since. So I think that helped us out a little bit.
Do you remember I think it was a playoff game last year, White scored at the beginning of the game and he ran over the 32-52 and he's doing all this and like talking shit, and they ended up losing. We ended up smashing them that game like we always do because they're Vancouver. That's what we do. But that's his karma, right? Like he's always going to suck every time that he plays against us. So
it is funny that I consider them rivals now because we haven't really had good games against them, but we just played them so many times that I fucking hate them. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
Oh, bro. We played them 7 times or 6 times last year. We could have played them 7 had they won a playoff game. But yeah, they suck. I hate them. I hate Sartini. but I love him too. He's
Yeah,
funny,
me
but
too.
he loves fucking journalistic. So
I'm happy he
You didn't catch?
exists.
Did anybody catch anything after the match? I had to rush up here.
No, he
Any
knew
interaction?
that he charges extra for that now.
Oh, okay.
he definitely waited till he got in the back this time.
LAFC Daniel, thanks so much for calling in. And if anyone doesn't follow LAFC Daniel, he's a great follow on Twitter
Thanks,
about
guys.
the team. So give him a follow. All right, good to see you.
Thanks for coming.
Darren, anything else from the stadium that we didn't talk to you about? We kind of like just jumped right in when you came on.
This is a great time. We sat in seats closer to the 3-2-5-2 this time, which was a lot of fun. I'll underline what Daniel just said about that second goal. It started out of the back where we were, and it was just like it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. It was like that thing that they were working on all season in training. They were like, "Oh, we did the thing. We did that thing we've been trying to do." It was just like a series of what ended up feeling like very easy measured passes, and the last pass went in the net. Like it wasn't even any different than the previous passes. It wasn't a shot. It was just like pass. Oh, it's goal. Yeah. It's like, and it felt like that's what Vince and everybody's been talking about with us trying to transition into becoming more of a possession oriented team. That was that on display. I think we finished at over 50% possession at the end of the match. I'm not sure when the last time that's happened. But it felt like the goals came from that and a lot of the chances came from that rather than just transition, capitalizing mistakes, things like that. So yeah, I'll just underline that. It was a lot of fun to see, a lot of active stuff. The only thing in the stadium that I can think of is there were a few kids in our section who got on the big screen. They were very good at getting on the big screen, so I want to shout them out. They got on the big screen multiple times and then moved seats to other friends in another area of the section and got on the big screen again.
I want to say a happy foot that I forgot to say is it was cool to see Lee Win back at the stadium. I've always been a big Lee Win fan, and it was cool to see him.
Him and Ted Unkler are my only sad feet. I missed him as the Falconer because we didn't get to our seats in time.
I have a sad foot, which is that Kiké haters are in shambles. What are they going to complain about now? Kiké just tied Timothy Tillman for our second most goals on the team.
Are you talking about the same? Are we talking about Golden Boot contender Kiké Olivera? Is that what we're talking about? I think that's what you mean.
Future DP Kiké Olivera.
Kiké Olivera. That's why that DP slot's open because we're just going to change it.
I will say, I'm proud that we never lost faith in him. He always looked like he was in the right place. Yes, he was clearly in his head. But once they've started coming, they've really started coming. And it seems like Bouanga's taken joy in helping him get goals now that they're coming.
I will say that happened. A couple of those happened right in front of our section. And you could tell Bouanga was like so proud that he like got that going.
Yeah.
That with his working, I guess we call it an ass trick. What's a hat trick of assists?
I was asking my wife that. She said a gift trick. I was like, that sounds a little too sexual. I was like,
that's not a problem. That's not a bad thing. It can sound sexual. That's fine.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything else happy foot wise before we bring on our special guests. But
I just feel like particularly good games from so many people that like I kept adding to the list. Palencia had a great game.
Yeah.
Tillman had a great game. We talked about it. Chanel had a great game. Great individual performances on top of the obvious team performance.
We've given this team so much shit over the last couple months. We have to give flowers when flowers are due. This was an overall excellent performance from almost everyone, including the people that we are scared about. Kiké, Hugo. We've had just like incredible performances. The only sour note is whatever happens with Ilie. Let's pray that it's something. As a person who doesn't believe in God, let's pray that it's not too bad. All right. Well, 3 goals were scored this game, and that always means something specific here at Happy Foot Sad Foot. So please welcome to the stage at the same time, Joey and Two Nips Dan.
Oh man, we've got some echo. They're together.
Okay, we're bringing on Two Nips Dan.
Oh my God.
Are you
have to say something. It's way creepier if you don't say anything. Oh, no, you on mute.
I don't have anything obligatory, anything besides the obligatory sad foots, Ilie and Ted Uncle. Those are just get those off the list. Happy feet, I have a lot of happy feet. Towards Darren's, a lot of the homies got on the big screen.
Oh yeah, a lot of homies, little homies, diverse homies, celebrity homies of varying stature. Like a lot of people for me to look up. I want to start the Twitter who was on the video board account.
Yeah, I mean you had Sombrero Kid.
Mayo.
You had lanky Central California guy. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but I think you do. If you do.
They did have a lot of people where they gave lower thirds to explain who they were, and it was just like, I don't know.
And then the other
I love LAFC Rich, but sometimes it seems like it's just like, oh, this guy's got 2 million followers on Instagram. We got to get him on the big screen.
There was one they showed, and it said YouTuber, and I Googled him, and it was like, this doesn't look anything like the person that was just on the big screen. They might have just gotten that guy wrong.
They get him wrong. They definitely got him wrong.
Any other happy feet?
If
anyone's never
Are
watched
you familiar
before,
with beer pong? So like if you make 2 shots
Beer pong.
If you make 2 shots in a row in beer pong, you're heating up.
Yes.
If you make the 3rd, you're on fire.
That's not.
And you get balls.
Did that originate in beer pong?
Do you know it in another game, Darren?
it came from NBA Jam, an arcade game.
Right. Okay. Well, we all played that shit, right? Like I went to Chuck E. Cheese to play 95 NBA Jam, which had the heating up and the on fire. Sorry. Credit where it's due. Good call.
Kike's on fire.
He's totally on fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good analogy.
For sure. Well, it's always good to hear from you guys and to see your beautiful bodies. I'll hope to see you soon. Honestly, I can't wait to see those nipples again.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
At one point, I think the rule it changed to 4 triggers.
It would change to 4 last year because we were scoring so many, and I think they.
But now we handicap it
to 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
This season because we weren't scoring.
It's a 3. It's a 3. It's a 3 trigger season.
Tim Morgan, the lawyer in the comments, negotiated them up to 4, and but the statute of limitations was the end of this year, so it went back down to 3. But if Kiké remains at this level, we might have to bump it back up to 4.
Well, it's important to stay on top of the bylaws of the show.
Nut reminds us, don't forget to claim your free Christian Chick-fil-A sandwich. We got Chick-fil-A.
Christian Olivera.
Your free Kiké Chick-fil-A sandwich. I think I've said most of what I want to say. Like, goateed Kiké Olivera is it. He just needed to grow the goatee, and he can do it.
Do we need to make a I never doubted Christian Olivera's goatee shirt?
I no, because I don't want to compare him to Stipe. He doesn't deserve that.
Oh no!
In like 2 games,
Stipe will be back soon.
As many as Stipe scored in a season. So
yikes!
Yeah, and I also want to say another happy foot is the "They Not Like Us" banner that Expo Originals put up today to support Kendrick Lamar. Of course, you want to hear these 2 white guys talk about Kendrick Lamar, but it's always cool to see LA supported stuff, especially when
let's talk about what we think about it.
Here's what it means for the culture.
I think we should go line by line. Let's explain it.
When he said the word the can have many meanings.
We've mentioned Ted Uncle a few times, but I just gotta say, like, it's crazy. We're in a group text that I texted this. I just like he's so bad that like I expect it every time, and yet I'm still surprised when it happens every time. Like it's that bad. I don't get it. Like there were so many calls that were just like, is that seriously the call? I couldn't believe it. I was baffled.
I know that me and you always end up talking about basketball, but it's like part of me likes Ted Uncle because he now is a household name because of how bad he is. And he reminds me of Scott Foster in the NBA, where it's like when Scott Foster's reffing your game, you're just like, well, that's going to be part of the story. We can't do it. There's just another player on the field we're going to have to deal with. And so while I hate Ted Uncle, I sort of like that I know what to expect with him a little bit, Whereas the other guys, not knowing them, I'm not always as happy to see. I kind of like when Ted Uncle's around because I know we're going to have a shit game.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was real bad.
Well-
But we rose above it, so that's good.
It was probably our best game of the season outside of that 5-0 win against Nashville. And we still all haven't hung out together at one game, and that's something worth acknowledging.
I didn't get to see Vince even. We were both here.
All right. Any other happy
Football,
beat or
yeah.
sad beat before we take off, Darren? I feel like it was such a good one. There's almost nothing to talk about.
I am nice and clean this one. I'm very happy.
We needed something
Thorough
like this.
victory. This is exactly the game we needed. I mean, at this point I've accepted that it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be up and down. So I think normally this would feel like a very convincing win, but I think at this point there's no win or loss that will fully convince me. Like I'm just
we can't win on
just
the
going to
road.
understand that it was another home win. At this point I'll just understand that it's not necessarily going to stick whether we play a bad game or a good game, and that's what it's going to be. But we'll see what happens next time.
Mario points something out quick that I want to make sure we get to, which is that Darren's bet was 2 goals from 2 players who appear in a Mother's Day video talking about their mothers. Mother's Day video will definitely come out tomorrow. So if we get Kiké Olivera and Matty
Kiké and
Bogusz
Bogusz.
and I think we can get them both.
Mario, thank you. Mario coming through. Mario always comes through.
Yeah, and there's a quick turnaround. We have a Wednesday game that's 3 games in 10 days for the first time in a long time. We'll see what the roster looks like, but
4 and
we've
12,
been so bad on the road. We're playing a tough crowd in St. Louis. There's a dog park in that stadium. Always got to bring up that there's a dog park in that stadium. Yeah,
their goalie dives.
Yeah, their goalie does dive quite a bit, even though he's a little bit older. So we'll see what Wednesday's like, but we have to remember to enjoy these moments when they come, because they're few and far between this season, despite being in 4th place.
It's true. We will have another preview episode. We'll shove it into the schedule and make it happen.
I'll leave on this comment. Katie Clock says they should have made a tifo of the Vancouver coach sucking off Steve Cherundolo. No. Yeah, I think the 3252 should have made that tifo, and that's something to consider for a future playoff game if anyone for the 3252 is listening. Okay, if you want to, please hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up button.
Thank you for all the support, everybody.
It's so great to see you. What a great fun game. It's harder to talk about games where we play so well. So it's just fun to hang out with everybody. We'll see you. We'll have a preview episode soon. So subscribe to the podcast, and then we'll have the post game Wednesday night after the game. We love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.